It's been a while, hasn't it? E3's canceled, and I've been without a job for 3 months. And I've been binge watching anime. Right now, in this time of crisis, the only things we gamers have left is video games. Come to think of it, that feels like the only thing we've ever had anyway. Now I know what you're all thinking at this point, and Breath of the Wild 2 has been revealed since the last video that I made. So where have I been all this time? Well, I'll tell you where I've been. This is what happens when you have sisters. I barely made it out there alive. No, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back! She does make amazing no-bake cookies, though. They're so good. So, what is this video about today? Well, the answer should be obvious, but for those of you who are still wondering, I present you with Exhibit A. And now here's Exhibit B. Now this was supposed to be my top 10 questions for Breath of the Wild video, but as I started writing the script, I got to thinking, well, what is the internet's most searched question? So, well, we'll just have to find out. So here is the internet's most Googled questions for Breath of the Wild 2. Now keep in mind, some of these are going to be redundant, so I'm going to add a couple of my own questions at the end just to fill out a top 10. Now here's question number 1. Will Breath of the Wild 2 be on Switch? I don't know. I guess it all depends whenever it's going to get done. I mean, if they're planning on having it done within the next couple of years, maybe. We'll just have to find out whenever Nintendo wants to let us know. Here's question number 2. Will Breath of the Wild 2 be on Wii U? Well, of course it will. I mean, it's not like the Wii U got taken off the production line or anything. And after all, Nintendo is a very inclusive company, so I'm pretty sure that they're not going to make it a Switch exclusive just so that they can sell more Switches, because that's not how business works. Business doesn't try and take away from its consumers just so it can sell its new product. I mean, who would do that? Here's question number 3. Will Breath of the Wild 2 have dungeons? Nope. At least not good ones. Question number 4. Will Breath of the Wild 2 have a better map? A better map? What was wrong with the original? Do they mean will it have a different map? Because that question just doesn't make any sense. I mean, who would search that up? That's really dumb. I mean, Breath of the Wild 2 looks like it's going to take place in the same Hyrule for as far as I am concerned. Do they mean, are they going to change up the way that Hyrule looks? I mean, this question is very vague and doesn't have a lot of logic to back it up. So, I guess maybe you'll have a better map? I don't know how to answer that. Okay, question number 5. Will Breath of the Wild 2 be 2-player? That's a really good question. I don't know. I mean, if so, this will be the first mainline Zelda title to be 2-player. I mean, you have the 4 Swords and 4 Swords Adventures and Triforce Heroes, but that's about it. I mean, if they did make it 2-player, that would be very different. That would be very weird for Zelda. I mean, I'd totally be welcome to it, but I just don't know if that's really going to happen or not. I'm probably going to say no, just based on the evidence that we've been given so far. Okay, here's question number 6. Will Breath of the Wild 2 come out in 2020? Nope. COVID-19 has pretty much screwed that up. Even if there was a slim chance that it was going to come out in 2020, it ain't now. Sorry, it's just facts. Number 7, skip. And number 8, will Breath of the Wild 2 have better graphics? I mean, technically, it's running on the exact same engine as the original. And from the trailer we've seen, it doesn't look that much different from Breath of the Wild. So I'd have to say technically, but honestly I'd have to say no, because even though it will improve because it's not limited by Wii U hardware, the difference is going to be so small, I'm positive that you're not going to be able to see a difference. Number 9, will Breath of the Wild 2 be open world? Yes, I'm absolutely positive that it is going to be open world. There's so many interviews that I've read and so many articles that they're totally going to keep this as open world as possible. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Why would you even ask that? Unless you just don't know and don't own a Switch and haven't played the game and aren't keeping up with the news. So, yeah, it's totally going to be open world. And number 10, will Breath of the Wild 2 use the same map? Okay, now this question is better. It is very clear, it's very concise on what it is asking. It is nothing like that. Will Breath of the Wild have a better map? Garbage that I read earlier. As far as Breath of the Wild 2 using the same map, that's a very good question. It looks like the same Hyrule, but after all, they've only shown us one trailer. So, we don't know if they're going to change anything, and we don't know whether or not they're going to expand beyond the original map. So, from what it looks like, it may be the same Hyrule, it may not. I mean, from what we saw, it was still in very early development, so what we saw in the trailer may change drastically from that time to the time of release. So, I'm going to say it is impossible to guess. Now it's time for the bonus round, in which I ask 3 of my own questions to finish off this video.
Just get the spell out of my braces.
Here's my first question. Is Ganondorf really the bad guy in this game? I mean, don't get me wrong, he's certainly made out to look that way. But does he have to be? I mean, wouldn't it make more sense for there to be some kind of mystery villain that's suddenly revealed in the end that was just pulling his string or something like that? I know Ganondorf has been the most consistent antagonist throughout the entirety of the Zelda timeline, but wouldn't it kind of like be a fresh new experience if for once he wasn't the bad guy? I mean, I'd be totally open to it, and now is as good a time as any to start that trend. Now for my second question. Musical instrument. Every 3D Zelda game has had one, except for Breath of the Wild. So will Breath of the Wild 2 have one? And will that be essential to the gameplay? That's the question I want to know. I mean, I would totally welcome a musical instrument back into the series. I'd be totally open to that. But is it going to be? I certainly hope so, but at this point, I don't even know. Okay, now for my last question for this video, I guess. What is that weird hand thing that wraps around Link's arm? Everybody's asking that question, so of course I'm going to have to ask that question in this video. Is it essential to the gameplay? Does it play a part in the story? Just what is it? This is the one thing I want to know. If you can just tell me this, then I will be satisfied in waiting for all the other answers. I just want to know what that thing is. Also, where is Tingle?